All right, welcome back to Market Day Report. I'm Scott Shelly, otherwise known as the Cow Guy. Let's get right into it, right? We're getting closer and closer at the end of the day. Let's start with corn. Why don't we take a look at what's going on in these markets? And that would be a good place to start from, right? We call that a jumping off point. Corn's higher today by 6 1/4 cents in the front month. That's 6.77 last. That's March. May's up 5 3/4 cents to 6.74 3/4. Let's go all the way out the deferreds. 3.5 cents higher in the Dees. 5.94. Still about 3.5 cents off the highs there. Soybeans, that's your next one you're going to want to know. Up 15.5 cents. So we've got some green on the screen here, folks. March is at 15.34 3/4. That's 15.5 cents higher. 14 1/4 cents higher is the May. That's right behind it. And the price, 15.26 even. But let's go out the deferreds and see, well, let's go down here and see what the new crop looks like, right? That's probably what you want to see. Let's go to the new crop, November of 23. Let's say that's up 7.5 cents. We're well above that 13.70 line. When are we going to get to 14? Maybe the same day that we get to $6 in Dees corn. How about that? Now let's go back to that wheat market, Chicago wheat. See what that's got in store for us. That's got some green too, strong. 22 1/4 cents higher in the March wheat in Chicago. 7.79.5 is last. Still about 11 cents off those highs. May's up 21 1/4 cents to 7.89 1/4. If we move over to the hard red wheat in Kansas City, what's happening there? Well, that's up 24 3/4 cents as well. 9.03 3/4 is last. May's up 23.5 cents to 8.91.5. How about spring wheat, you ask? Spring wheat we have. How about that? 11 cents higher in Minneapolis. 9.28 1/4 is last there. That's March. May's up 10 1/4 cents to 9.20 1/4. Finally, let's take a look at cotton. We've been looking at cotton. It's not doing very much. It's off a little bit here. We're 40 points lower, end of March, 285.10, and that gives me the opportunity to bring on our next guest analyst, and that's going to be Todd Bubba Horowitz. He's joining us from where? Drum roll, please. That will be Las Vegas. All right. He's got that extensive art collection. I wonder, you probably got another room for all the statues. You've got, that's where you park all that money, right? So,
and your waiting pool.
Yeah, right. Exactly right. Okay. I just rattled off the numbers, Todd. I know, a lot of green on the screen. It's a good day today if you're a producer. Obviously, I know that there's some consumers out there that wanted to see a little lower, but still, what are your thoughts?
I think they look okay. They're back. I think they're now back into that slow drift to the downside a little bit. I mean, they look great. I mean, they look like they've held real well. We had a real nice pop earlier, but we're just kind of slowly, giving up some of the gains. Now, where we end is obviously a question. We've got an hour and a half to go. And I think, you can see just a little bit more drifting lower from here. But the fact that they were able to hold support and bounce very sharply is a very good sign. And I think we need to break through $8 in wheat and $7 in corn and get those Novi beans up. And I think that we could be on a run. And I think there's going to be an extended run here, especially when you look at what's going on in the equity markets and some of the other things around. There's going to be some new money flowing in here, the way it looks to me.
All right. If you're a betting man, Novi beans at 14 versus Dees corn at 6. Which gets there first?
The Novi beans will get there first, but corn will get there as well. They're both going to get there, I think, easily. And they may do it on the same day. I think we might have to break it down to a percentage basis when they get there.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of producers out there that love to hear what you have to say about that. That's, they're not too far away. They're about, 25 cents away in beans and about 5-7 cents away in corn. So we'll see. But those are going to be some great levels that those producers out there probably should real quick take a little bit of coverage, right?
I would think so. Look, I'm a big believer, Scott, of always being hedged anyways. I think it just makes more sense. Then you don't have to think about it, and you're protected on either side of the market. Yeah, you give up a little bit of your action if we get into these sideways markets, but at the end of the day, you're totally protected and you never give up the upside, which is, I think, the real big key.
Right.
Too many end up giving up the upside potential when they use some of the positions that they have done or sell some. And I like that ability for that big market because it's coming. It may not be tomorrow, it may not be the next day, but you can feel it coming.
All right, I can feel this break coming, so we got to go away, pay some bills. We're going to come back and talk more with Todd Horowitz after this. All right, welcome back. Let's take a look at the other side of the coin, which is going to be the protein markets, the livestock, the meats. Let's take a look what the live cattle market has for us in store in Chicago. We're up small there. We've got an April rally of 15 cents. Not a lot going on. 163.77. This market looks either out to lunch, gone fishing, or closed for the day already. June's only up a nickel to 159.57. We move over to see what we've got going on in the feeders. Well, what's happening in the feeder cattle? They don't like that stronger corn board. We got March off 55 cents to 186.27. On the floor, they call that double nickels, right? April's off 37 cents to 190.35. All right, so that one's steady easier when we look at the feeders. And then finally, let's take a look at lean hogs. They were trying to rally earlier. This is just all over the place. It's a mess, right? April's down 15 cents to 83.17, and we got May up 7 cents to 93.10. Let's get somebody in here that can clean up this mess. Let's bring back in Todd Bubba Horowitz. He's in Las Vegas. Todd, what are your thoughts here on the meats? I mean, is this a Ronco trade where we can just set it and forget it and stay long cattle because we know we don't have very many of them left?
I think that's probably a pretty good deal. I mean, I don't think they're going, like I said, I don't think they're going dramatically higher, but I don't think they're going lower. I think that's the key to remember. And I think they're just going to trade basis what crude oil does. Crude oil has been starting to rally the last couple of days. We're down around 72. Now we're close to 80. Suddenly, and cattle has slowed a little bit, and hogs had a nice little pop earlier in the week until today. And today they're still kind of, just hanging around. And I think that the whole complex looks pretty good. I just think there's probably more upside in hogs than there is downside in cattle. And I think cattle's pretty strong. I mean, fat cattle's been continuing to push new highs almost on a weekly basis. So I think I don't think there's a dramatic move coming to the upside, but I certainly don't see any reason for them to go lower.
What have the volumes been like lately? I mean, I don't really see
Very
that
light.
as very light. So not a lot of folks
Everything
playing.
has been. We're working at about 40 to 50% off of normal volume, Scott, across the board in almost every product. It has been really kind of like a waiting game, which really makes these markets move a little bit more in one direction you would think at any given time, because it's easier for the funds to kind of position themselves for what they want, and then they'll let the markets rip the way they want them to go.
All right, great stuff. Really appreciate the content there. Todd Bubba Horowitz, he comes to us from Las Vegas. Have a great weekend, Todd. We're going to bring it back to Nashville.